Yeah.
Do we want to switch up our party?
Have we leveled up much?
A bit.
I want to keep going with these guys.
Yeah, alright. We're doing good so far.
Yeah, so my problem with...
Go to the club.
Go to the club. Even she doesn't want to go there. No, none of them ever want to go to their own place.
Well,
though.
yeah.
And like, I can't blame them.
No, yeah, it's like nobody wants to face, like... It's just that same kind of thing. It's like, oh, do we have to go look at the parts of myself that I, actively want to put away?
Strong shadow presence on the highest floor. Alright.
Yeah, so this is there's a bonus boss back at the top of this area now that we can...
So yeah, this is the strip club.
Yeah, so this is what Risei's mind dungeon manifested itself as. And I would like it if I felt like it was necessary, but I do kind of feel like the devs just wanted it to be a strip club.
Maybe. I mean, I wonder. It's got to be really difficult being a woman. I wish I say that as if I'm not one. Jesus.
Yeah, it's got to be difficult being...
No, but I think especially in... I mean, not that American society is, like, really great when it comes to sexuality and balancing that in a healthy way, but, being a young girl in Japan, that's got to be kind of difficult to know that, you're growing into your sexuality, but also are constantly sexualized, but also want to be able to experience that, but also don't want to be pinned down as just that. You know, that's got to be tough.
See, and I feel like a really cool narrative can be made around that, but that's just
not
really
explore it.
That's not what Risei's story is about.
Oh, really?
Not entirely,
at least not
anyway.
so far. Risei is probably the character I know the least about right now.
Well,
because again, this is a game that I had never played before, but Oscar has.
Right.
One thing I do really like, though, is that our
Nugget.
Our puppy came in here to be with us, and now I set up a bed for her because she wanted to be in the podcast.
She's having
room.
a bad dream.
And she's dreaming.
Oh, she's dreaming right now?
Aww.
Oh, dear.
Someone else's turn.
She starts squeaking like that.
Couldn't quite beat it.
She was waffling.
She's a little waffle. She's a waffle fry. But one thing I do like, so the mind dungeons and fighting everybody's shadow is like the climax of their character journey, but it's
Makes
never
sense.
the end of it, because
Also
after
makes
that
sense.
and they join your party or whatever, you have opportunities to spend time with them and build the social link with them, and you get more and more scenes, pretty much as much you can explore them as far as you want to, really, as far as you're willing to use your in-game time.
Yeah, makes sense.
It's like Danganronpa or one of those games where you have to decide how to spend your free time.
Yeah.
And
There's 3 enemies.
sorry, just checking your lighting. So since having Kanji's big mind dungeon,
Don't give up now, okay?
which did end sort of, they all end a little bit vaguely, because it's not the end of it. It's just like them. The mind dungeons end with them acknowledging it, but once you've acknowledged your problems,
you
it's
don't
not
just
like you're
self-actualize
done.
once.
The first step to fixing a problem is acknowledging that you have one.
Right.
Yeah, but that's the first step.
Mm-hmm. And that is essentially what happens with all these characters.
Have you guys, Oscar and Amber, have you guys watched The Midnight Gospel?
I have not, no.
Can't say I have, now.
Okay, it's a neat show. I recommend it. There's just one episode where he's walking around the whole time saying, like, "Oh, I'm enlightened now."
Yeah,
And that's what it reminds me of.
And the more he says it, the less it's true. It's so funny.
And then in the next episode, somebody says, like, "I thought you said you were enlightened." And
He's
he was
like,
like,
"I was an
"Oh,
idiot."
yeah, I was being dumb. Don't worry about that."
Hi, you really get me going.
So yeah, you do get to see them kind of putting the work in. And the one I'm enjoying the most right now is oh hey,
yep, we got Black Spot.
Right.
I suggest replacing Skullcracker. Now that we have Black Spot, we're not gonna need it.
Yeah, for those of you watching my tactical decisions, I'm not thinking super hard about anything I'm doing here, so don't at me.
That's kind of why I'm here.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm autopiloting. Oscar's the autopilot.
I mean, since you guys are the ones discussing, I'd be willing to take over if you want.
Do you want...
Do you want me to take over?
Yeah.
All right, go for it. You guys have the conversations. I'm fine here.
Yeah, take a turn, my dude.
Just let me know. And I see what you're. I was wondering about what the camera and like the camera's a little bit inverted, isn't it?
Yep.
Okay. But yeah, you guys go ahead and talk. I'm. Gotta remember what I gotta do here.
You'll figure it out. You'll be fine.
Oh, this is exactly what we need, actually.
Yeah, we do need to fight these guys. I like these ones a lot.
Soul dancers.
Wow, it's puny.
Okay, easy.
Enemies left.
I like this one because it's like 2 bodies dancing, but it's 1 head, 1 heart, and I feel like this could represent the misconception that you need a relationship to complete yourself.
Weren't we just talking about this with Eve in the No Straight Roads countdown?
Totally were, because it's a lesson that people keep not learning.
Yeah.
No, because it's a popular discussion point.
It is too.
I mean, I think it's again, we value, not that we're married and I love it, but we have this value, I think, in society about like marriage needing to happen for a person, about having to have a partner, and like now I feel like it's so good that we're questioning all of that. There's so many more people who are like, I don't actually need that in my life, or maybe I'll have 2 people who are my partners, or maybe I'll do whatever the hell I want.
Oh man, I was actually having a conversation with Amber about this a little bit ago. But you know how in Christianity a lot of the time like they have that idea. Okay, I'm going to say this much, but
3 enemies on the field.
I'm going to preface this by saying extremist Christianity or conservative Christianity type of thing.
Not all Christians, guys.
Not all Christians. We're Christians here too.
Yeah,
like,
really.
You know,
You and John are like
50% of us at least are Christians.
very
right
good.
now.
John and I specifically. But
2 of us identify as Christians.
He's good
yes.
Christian.
But the
boy.
idea is that for some reason conservative or extremist Christianity has that idea of again, just prefacing this, that the woman has to be subservient to the man. Hello.
Whoa, a big boy.
The persistent fuzz. That's
Persistent fuzz.
That's
right. I think he reflects all magic. So
Yeah, and
But
make sure you heal Ted.
and the
on it.
corpse.
But the idea was the woman has to be subservient and you have to get married and have kids and
And
whatnot.
it's
I'm,
one man, one woman.
yeah,
Very.
it's not about the one man, one woman thing. I find it completely ironic because there's literally a passage in the Bible, that says that God would rather have you be alone. He would rather have you dedicate your life to yourself and by extension to God. And he's like, look, if you want to be with someone else, then by all means go right ahead. I will permit it, but I'd rather you not. And it's kind of ironic because conservative and Christianity has that idea that you should be with someone else when really you don't have to.
I think a lot of those ideologies come out of a very survivalistic place of, and because one of the things because so many people do disregard what is actually in the various holy texts that they follow.
Is that what we need?
Yeah, the flower brooch.
Oh yeah, we got it the last time too.
Yep. Okay.
Nice.
I didn't see it the last time. Okay.
What else do we need from the strip club while we're at it?
We need a pole.
Oh,
Nice.
I get it.
From the twin enemies.
Got you.
The ones where there's
the Gemini?
Yeah.
Oh, I know what you're talking about. Yeah,
the Geminis.
All right, cool.
They're a kind of enemy that appears in every, but this particular palette swap has the item that we need.
Nice.
And I don't know how they're on a certain floor. I don't know how high up you need to go.
Keep going, guys.
But yeah, I think also this whole you need somebody to complete you sort of thing, which is one direction I feel like Risei's story might be going a little bit, because already Risei's getting really flirty with us, and I know you can pursue a romance with her, but I'm already doing that with Yukiko, and I don't think I'm going to change course now. Also, Stardew Valley or something, you can actually date multiple people and hope they don't find out about each other.
Depending, they might.
But if you date all of them, they do find out about each other.
If you date all of the dudes or all of the ladies, they'll find out.
So Persona.
Yeah.
Oh gosh, the consequences
But
you have to deal with in
you can
Persona
date-
for that.
You can date all but one guy or all but one girl.
But
and
as
then
soon as
they
you
don't
date all of
notice.
them, they're gonna
It's
find
like,
out.
ding, ding,
Yeah.
ding. Yeah.
So,
Enemies.
yeah, but I think the idea of like needing somebody to complete you also kind of, and in not just Christianity, but a lot of like, you know, older ways of thinking about life.
Enemy down.
Like, I feel like it's also related to the whole gender roles thing, because I love this move. She just kicks you into space.
Yeet.
But it kind of feeds into this that, like, okay, a man does this, this, and this, and women are subservient, but they take care of the house. They serve an essential function doing the house, because you, as the man, will do the essential function of being out and working and bringing
It's so
home the bread.
survivalistic to me, and
Yeah.
which I, you know, and I mean, like, the thing is, like, there's, and kind of like the shadow self, there's a certain understanding of, like, yes, you know, we have to procreate to make the human race keep going. There has to be people who, you know, who have designated roles, you know, whether they're hunters or gatherers or IT agents, you know, and construction workers, you know, there are people who have to fulfill certain roles. But you can take that too far, and people are they have such a hard time letting go, and they hold on to these ideologies so fervently that's when you get things like homophobia, because people and over the course of time, you know, those toxic ideologies build on one another, and you know, you get family members passing down one after another until it's a whole, you know, chunk of society.
Yeah, that sounds good. Is this exhaust? Yeah, and like if you have a society that's buying into these gender roles, that's telling you all of this, then of course people started getting this misconception that you need a romantic partner to complete yourself, because society is literally telling you, as your gender,
Yes.
you can do this, but you can't do this.
And you know
so
what?
you need to get the other one.
And speaking of that makes me think of Carl Jung again, because
Yes, we got it back. Yes.
Yes, because one of
Nailed it.
in his structure of the psyche, you have the conscious, you have the unconscious, you also have the anima and the animus, depending on what. And this is very gender binary, and I will say that that's like my current issue with it, because it ties into the gender binary to a certain extent, but only if you decide to look at it that way, and I decide to not look at it that way. I decide to look at it when you talk about anima and animus, anima being feminine energy and animus being masculine energy, as just that, not male and female, but masculine and feminine energy, or you know, yin and yang energy. You know, you can look at it a little less, squinting so that it has to have anything to do with biological sex, because it doesn't.
I can buy into the vague idea of there being like a yin and yang, masculine, feminine energy.
And I do think that there's
I just
also
don't necessarily
other
tie it to.
There are other energies too, and they aren't inherently tied to gender. I don't think that they're inherently tied to sex. It's just a way to look at it, and I think that there are other energies too, because I think that there's, you know, like in different spiritual communities in the past, drawing on a specific third gender energy or other gender energy was very spiritual, specifically like different Native American, you know, tribes that would often their spiritual leaders would often be two-spirit people who embodied both masculine and feminine energy, because it was the culmination of the ebb and the flow, the sun and the moon, the light and the darkness, all of it, yin and yang. But I think in reality that's true in everybody. It's just that some people adhere to it more, some people lean into it more. That's not to say that you can't be really happy being a feminine or masculine person.
Yeah, or you could be really happy following the gender roles. Like, that's fine if that's what you want to do.
Whatever makes you happy, and that's good, and you should do it, as long as you're not hurting anybody.
Yeah.
But I think it's true that in all of us, in our psyche, at least according to Carl Jung, you have
Nice one,
killing with
Teddy.
a counter. Ooh, the 4 more.
Let's do it. Get them all.
that looks fancy.
Yeah, there's this kind of... You have to do this like calculation after
Those also look
every
like
battle.
tarot cards.
They are.
They are.
Well, I mean, yeah.
And like cups heal you, and
Right.
pentacles get you more
Money,
gold.
yeah.
And
Let me. Do wands like give you like ammo or like attack?
I think experience.
The wands grant extra
Bonus
experience.
experience
The
points.
cups.
What do swords do then? Swords are normally the crappy one. No
the
offense,
swords actually. I don't think the swords are actually used here.
Wow.
No, they are.
Wow.
They
Are they?
are. They are. I forget. I can't think of what they do right now, but
Oh no! The swords grant you skill cards.
yeah, skill cards.
Oh.
Yeah, the swords grant you
okay.
skill cards. The
Okay.
cups heal you and restore your SP.
Yeah.
That makes
The
sense.
Coins grant you money.
Money,
And
yeah.
the wands grant you extra experience.
Yeah,
That
for those of
makes
you
sense.
who don't know,
That's
in a
so
tarot
funny.
deck, aside from the Arcana cards, there are number cards, and they work a lot like the 4 suits in like a deck of playing cards.
You could read you can read tarot with playing cards if you know what
Yeah.
you're doing.
Instead of hearts, diamonds, clubs,
The cups,
spades, it's
the cups align to hearts. The clubs align to wand, the spades to swords, and the diamonds to pentacles, which are also cups being like water elementally or energetically, pentacles being earth, swords being air, and wands being fire.
Yeah, and I always thought that was neat. It also, works into a like 4
Yeah.
elements kind of thing.
Which is very, again, like archetypical in nature, having these sorts of like very base, very vague energies, which
you
is
can
why
get rid of Lilum if you want.
I could talk about it forever, because a lot of it is so vague or so mutable and intangible. That's why I could ramble about it forever, why I'm such a big nerd about it, honestly.
It's kind of what we're doing now.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, exactly. That's why it's like, I really honestly could talk about it forever.
You could also take like pretty much most stories written with a 3-act structure or whatever.
Oh, yeah.
And
They're all the hero's journey.
you can make a tarot deck out of it, because most of the arcana spiritually will appear somewhere in the story.
Yeah, the major arcana and the hero's journey are essentially one in the same.
Luke Skywalker is the fool at the beginning
Yep.
of the movie, and he meets Obi-Wan Kenobi,
The
who is the
magician.
magician. And Leia is the priestess, and Han is the emperor. And they take the chariot, which is the Millennium Falcon, and
This is why I married you. Oh my gosh.
I also want to say I wouldn't understand any of this tarot
Stop.
stuff. Allie learned all of this by studying it, and I learned it by listening to Allie. So
You're
all of the
so
credit goes to
sweet.
that. The Star Wars stuff I knew.
You're so sweet. I think the Emperor. The
Aren't
Emperor
these two made for
Palpatine-
each other?
Oh,
And then
we
you've
were-
got the reversed arcana too,
Yeah.
like Emperor Palpatine is the Emperor, but reversed.
Yeah, because he's a bad emperor. He
He's-
doesn't really lead. He just controls.
Yeah, which is like very much like when you reverse a tarot card, it kind of is like the shadow of the energy there in general.
Speaking of reversed emperor, that's exactly the conversation you had about Kanji the other day
Oh,
as well. The
yeah.
fact that his arcana is the emperor.
Yeah. And I think that's great because
Masculinity in
Yeah, the-
general.
the
is
Emperor
a
is a very
strong
masculine
commanding
card.
force, right?
and at the end of the day, Kanji is a very masculine person, even if he does have this sensitive side to
Which,
him.
like, of course he does. You can't just be a rock. Like,
Yeah.
geez, you know.
Like, if anything, he's a better man
Right.
because of these other things.
Oftentimes, your vulnerability is what gives you strength, and that's like
Yeah.
the whole idea of turning away from your shadow will only make you weaker, because your vulnerability gives you strength. You're feeling like you may be, you know, disconnected is what prompts you to connect to others, like, etc. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
that's what fuels you. That's what makes you want to improve yourself and become better and make your strengths better. Damn,
Nice.
she really,
Exactly what we needed.
she really do that kick. She really do it.
That was a combo right there.
She's a girl who can do both.
She just can't cook.
You ever...
Oh, well, that's relatable.
None of the girls in
Oh
this
no,
game can
she
cook.
can't cook.
I guess Rise can cook. She works in a tofu shop.
2 to be exact.
Oscar, I don't know if you've ever had my cooking.
I have.
Are you sure?
Yes.
Okay.
I'm not. Maybe like Kielbasa once or. Allie's not a bad cook or anything. It's just that I really like cooking, so I generally do it.
See, I'm the opposite. Like, okay, I'm the off one. I'm the odd one out here. I don't like cooking at all.
Yeah, you
really
don't have
don't.
the patience for it.
No, I do not have the I relate to you, Oscar. I do not have the patience for cooking either. I will walk away from the stove. I do sometimes like making a soup, though, because that you can walk away from. You come, you taste the soup, you go, that needs some shit, you put it in, you walk away. I can do that. If you're asking me, or grilling, I can grill. Okay, you can walk away from that and it might only get messed up a little bit.
Look, I'm with you on this one. I know how to cook, too. To a very limited degree, mind you. And really, it's out of necessity.
Oscar, the few times that we've been over and you've, like, made something... Oh, yeah, we need to get out of here.
Out of here. We need to get out of here now.
Are you dying? What's happening?
Listen carefully.
I don't like
the
that.
Reaper's on this floor.
Yeah,
we need to get out.
If you spend too long on one
I see the thing that says SOS.
That's something else.
Yeah, that's
okay.
like
I need to find the exit
functionality
because,
thing.
like, here's the thing. I don't want to open any chests now because the Reaper's on this floor now.
He's coming to reap ya.
Sometimes that we've been over to your guys' place, though, and, like, Amber will have made, like, 2 or 3 different things for the meal, and Oscar will have made one thing. But, Oscar, you're so excited for us all to try this one thing. I think you do derive some pleasure from it.
I like the result. I don't like the process that leads to it.
You just don't want to do it all the time.
Yeah, when it comes to cooking, I'm a lot like you, Oscar. I'm about the destination, not so much the journey.
Yeah.
That's the real challenge of cooking, is that, like, you put your heart and soul and time into it, and you make this good meal, and then the next day it's like, hey, what's for dinner? And you're like, what, you want to eat again?
We just did that yesterday.
Like, this happens anytime I cook for Amber. Whenever I do it, I'm excited for her to try it. You know what? I want to show this off. Oh, didn't happen here. Okay, good.
You want to show off the Reaper? Don't show off the Reaper.
No. When you open a chest... it will give you the option of whether to it'll show up or not.
I thought Oscar was about to kill us and erase all the progress we've done so far.
No, we are not going to do that. Maybe we should save.
Yeah.
At some point. Where is the exit? How do you open the map? There it is. Okay, we need to go this way.
How do you open the map? What's going on? Lost in a strip club.
Actually, I don't hear the Reaper anymore. I think he despawned after an encounter.
He got distracted in the strip club.
It happens.
I'm fine with this. Right now, I'm kind of just like leveling up Pyro Jack.
Enemy down. Nice.
And it's working.
I like Pyro Jack, little pumpkin dude.
You rock.
Smack.
Yeah, I think Allie would also have a field day just looking at all the personas that we have access to.
Yeah, they pull them from all different kind of mythologies, because...
Now that's interesting.
I think the idea of it is that the personas you can summon are icons, like they are personas because they are recognized in the collective unconscious.
An icon is like a really cool thing, because it can be like, oh, like an icon of like a specific archetype or whatever, or it can be like a combination, or any just kind of like specific cultural influence. That's like really, I think that's something we should talk about more a lot in like modern day. I want modern psychoanalysts. I want your modern day Carl Jung to talk more about icons and iconography, because in our modern 20th and 21st century lives, iconography has become so important. Not that it wasn't before, like, you know, we've had people painting on the walls since as long as we've had walls, right? But we just have so much more of it now that we have the technology that we do. Wow, everybody's biting the dust, y'all. What?
I think
it's the innervation.
Yeah. Teddy has a thing that cures innervation.
Teddy's unconscious.
Well,
Guard down.
Teddy's unconscious.
Senpai's acting weird.
Yeah, that's not where... Actually, we might have. Hang on. Here we go.
So yeah, while he's thumbing through, you can see a bunch of where these are all basically things from different mythologies. We have a lot of... Oh, we just got rid of them, but we had a bunch of, like, Parvati is a Hindu goddess.
Yeah.
And Power and Dominion are both Old Testament angels. And I think the idea is, so like the really popular one in this is Jack Frost, who I think actually in the world of Persona is like a cartoon character that like these characters would watch.
That's very, very, very relatable.
Like I feel like if the Persona games happened in our world and you could go into a metaverse and summon, we'd have like personas of like Darth Vader and like and like Captain America.
It's so true. Parasocial relationships, man.
Yeah.
I think it ties into iconography like that a lot. Now that not 100%, because you can have parasocial relationships with any fictional character. It's like it is literally means, you know, like a social relationship, but it's not, because one of them is fictional and made up. But you can relate to them so much in such a way that I think it kind of ties into this idea of iconography and a figure that you can relate to so much and project onto.
Yeah, like if you're like our generation, where like Toy Story was one of the first movies we might have seen in theaters, and then 13 years later they had the gall to release Toy Story 3 about Andy going to college and having to say goodbye to all of his friends. It's a very that worked because of the parasocial relationship, because we all kind of...
They did the projection for us, my god.
Like Woody really was one of our toys.
He just did it. And, and in that way...
I mean, what kid who watched Toy Story in their childhood didn't have a toy of Buzz Lightyear or Woody?
Or something, yeah. Mine was a McDonald's toy, but yeah.
I didn't have, or if I did, I didn't play with it. But I had other toys that I felt that way about. Mm-hmm. And I had, in general, just... I mean, they're a figurehead for the idea of, like, our childhood innocence. And I think that's what makes Toy Story 3 hit so hard, because we're at the point where we were leaving our childhood behind, and so is Andy. So is Andy, who is like the filler figure for us, right? You know.
Silver lump was another item we needed to buy.
Oh, perfect.
So good job there.
All right, excellent.
A lump of silver. That's nice.
Yep. Let's just keep this up then. I say maybe we can get to the end.
Yeah, we'll save the actual boss battle for next episode.
Yeah,
because we're not going to be able to focus on anything else while we're fighting that thing.
But I actually would like to acknowledge what you guys were mentioning earlier about, like, if the Persona, Persona happened in our world, like there would be like different personas and things like that. Funny, because like all the games actually kind of do that. In Persona 3, all of the personas of the main characters were represented by tragic figures in history. In Persona 4, they are represented by heroes who...
They're specifically Shinto...
Yeah, Shinto heroes who succeeded in the face of impossible odds.
And they were all Greco-Roman in Persona 3, right?
Yes. They became folk heroes. In Persona 4, they're like Shinto characters who became folk heroes and eventually became legends, like Jiraiya and the woman general of the Chinese war, Tomoe. In Persona 5, all the personas are based on famous thieves or
and
famous
especially
rogues.
famous misunderstood criminals.
Exactly. Like Captain Kidd. Like
Goemon.
Like Goemon.
I'm trying to think of the like really Morgana's is Zoro.
Yeah, Morgana's is Zoro, actually.
Yeah, that's really cool.
Yeah, they're all based on these misunderstood but very
people who
valiant
are technically breaking the law but are considered by us to be heroes.
Yeah.
Yep.
And that's something that all of the team members share. So
I'm actually rather shocked that none of them reference Guy Fawkes. Though there is something to be said that like it has been theorized that Guy Fawkes is kind of represented by Joker, whose persona is Arsene.
Yeah.
The dark masked thief.
Yeah, I never knew who Arsene. I don't know who Arsene is in folklore or anything.
Arsene is supposed to be a demonic, a sort of like pseudo-demonic hero, in a way. Like, he's the one who is basically like, hey, these angels, these great beings who are supposed to protect us are getting in over their heads. It's my job to put them in their place. And that's what happens, like, later on when you basically kill a literal god.
it's very like Lucifer-ian in general,
Mm-hmm.
like the angel that falls. But it's like, well, I mean, I was just trying for equality.
I don't know if you guys care for Persona 5 spoilers at all or anything like that.
Maybe we shouldn't do Persona 5 just for the people watching.
Yeah.
I also do really want to play it one day. I
Yeah.
started watching you and Patty play it, and I wanted to play it so badly because all of the imagery was so spot on for what I'm already a nerd about.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, we just need to get
Yeah, we need a PS4 or 5.
a PS anything. A PS, well, we have PS1 and 2.
Yeah.
We can play Tomb Raider.
New skill, Mabufula.
Nice moves, Teddy.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of Teddy's whole thing about how Teddy's whole thing was kind of about finding meaning. And okay, so I didn't even tell you the craziest part about Teddy then.
Yeah.
So after we did the whole thing with his shadow, and then after that mission, because he lives in the TV world,
Right.
and the party's kind of like, hey, are you sure you're okay with
You
us
okay?
leaving you?
Yeah, you're gonna be alright.
That was kind of a lot. See, that's 5 of Cups.
Nice.
And he's like, yeah, I need to do some thinking myself. And he's like, he's on this whole thing about, like, I'm gonna, like, work through this, and I'm gonna get in shape, and he's doing, like, sit-ups and stuff, and you're just kind of like, okay, alright, Teddy, you do
Okay,
whatever helps you through this.
Sure.
So, the next time you go to talk to him in the TV world, and you go to the TV in the mall that you always use to get here, Teddy's actually out in the mall in our world, and he just looks like a mascot, so people think the store has, like, a new mascot.
Right.
So it's like, you know, the common people are kind of annoyed by him, but they don't think
You're
he's
not
anything
scared of
too
him or
weird.
anything like
yeah,
that. Yeah, sure.
because he just looks like a big mascot.
Yeah.
Until... So we're sitting and talking to him, and he's saying, like, it's really hot out here. I'm gonna unzip this. And they're like, no, don't, like, you might not understand this, Teddy. When people
my
see
God.
that you're empty inside, then they're gonna freak out. But he unzips it, and he now has a human form on
What?
the inside. So Teddy now actually
A
is
smaller
living...
Teddy.
Teddy's living with...
Not what I meant to do, by the way.
That was the bad word alarm. So Teddy's now actually bunking with Yosuke, living at his house, so that he doesn't have to stay in the TV world by himself anymore, and he has a human form that he can be there in. So Teddy literally grew a humanity.
There he is.
And that's him.
Oh.
Oh.
So he manifested that for
Yeah.
himself. This is
Yep.
real.
Yeah.
Well,
which,
that just goes
which
to
kind
show
of makes sense.
manifestation is real. He wanted it so bad, he made it happen.
It makes sense to me that if you're a being from this world, and like when we come here, we can manifest like weapons
Well,
and
that's
giant
true.
monsters
If
and
you
stuff.
can manifest here, why can't it be the
Yeah,
other
so
way
why
around?
can't he
Sure.
manifest a human?
Right. It's just we're just water mostly.
And also Teddy's like gorgeous. He's got like, you can't see it here, but he's got like piercing blue eyes.
Well, I kind of he's very like he looks like he's ready to be the cute member in the boy band.
Yeah. And he's one thing I really like. So Teddy always talks like this and kind of talks like a children's show mascot, but when
Yeah.
he's in the human form, it's still like clearly the same voice, but he's not doing that inflection anymore. And he sounds normal.
Also, I'm going to address the elephant in the room because I'm pretty sure someone already commented on
Oscar,
it.
that's a lion.
I'm not okay. I'm going to address the bear in the room.
Okay.
Because someone probably talked about this earlier in the comments down below.
Okay.
But I hate the fact that when like everyone says persona and freaking Teddy is like bear-sona.
Bear-sona? He's got a lot of puns.
I hate he is filled with bear puns and I hate it.
I don't know if he knows what
We don't have any keys anymore.
bear-sona means in these days. I mean, he probably does.
If you go on the right message board, you'll find people with their bear-sonas.
How do we get to this?
You said bear-sona, Oscar. That's how we got to
Yeah,
it.
this
Teddy
was,
said bear-sona. I didn't say bear-sona.
this was the logical progression of this conversation.
Hey, listen, man. If you can have an anima and an animus, I think about this a lot, right? Okay, we were talking about how like the masculine and feminine energy in all of us. I think a lot about what it means to have this energy of how we are an animal, right? Human beings are animals, but we're also something more than that. But also we're somewhere in the middle of those two things, I think.
So
I think about this a lot.
We can neither separate ourselves from being animals, but also we kind of have to. We can't forget that connection, I guess, that we have.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to say because we can't. I mean, you can think about how we communicate with animals. Y'all, have you seen that dog who talks? He's got the buttons.
Gosh. There's a dog named Bunny online.
There's a couple.
Oh dear.
Who have the buttons. But yeah, that's the one where that dog is like really advancing like nuts. I'm obsessed with it.
Yeah. So the owners of this dog,
mind.
the woman who owns this dog, set up a board on the floor of different buttons that when you press a button, it says a word.
They just
and has
started with,
actually
like,
taught her dog to communicate with it. And some of the things the dog says with the buttons are like
oh my god,
like mind blowing.
Because it really makes you wonder how conscious they are. Does my dog have a shadow? Nugget is asleep. If she has a shadow, she's not worrying about it right now.
She's in the TV world.
She
right
is
now.
in the TV world. I'd like to think that Nugget has self-actualized.
Yeah.
I think she self-actualized when she bit her sister on the butt.
Yeah. No, I'm a good girl. But what if I am a bad girl?
What if I was bad?
No, you're not me. Dun-dun-dun-dun-dun.
Oh man.
Persona. His persona isn't a bear, so I feel like that doesn't work, Teddy.
I mean,
It has little ears. It's kind of what is that then?
So
Teddy?
it's named after something. Oh, man, I already forget what his is called.
Kintoki Doji.
Oh, of course. Kintoki Doji, who's okay. Right. He's Kintaro is the version of him I know of, but it's like a children's story Japanese hero kind of.
Okay.
But for whatever reason in this game they make it look like a robot, which I think is kind of neat because it's kind of
The modern take.
and it's like Teddy's kind of like semi-artificial nature.
Oh, you love that kind of stuff.
And I love anything where there's a character who's not human but still wants to be treated as
John
human.
loves AI. John's the first proponent for you love robot
yes,
rights.
robot
so much.
rights.
I know.
I like
Such
how
a heated
Teddy's
discussion about this the other day.
Yeah, I got in an argument over. So you know in the grocery stores now, some grocery stores have those roving
Giant
things with the cameras.
They're giants all over the country. Yeah, and they all have the robot now.
Yeah, and they'll even like give them a little like employee tab, like "Hi, my name is Robbie" or something.
Or they'll like
Marty.
put googly eyes on them.
The Google guys, yes.
Just a pair of great googly peepers on them.
Mm-hmm.
And I was just saying that I hope that robot gets, days off and gets equal pay to the other people and stuff. Because if they're going to treat them like an employee, then they need to compensate him as one.
What's a robot gonna do with money?
I say let's work on getting that for human beings first. Then we'll figure it out for the robots.
Is this the conversation that manifested?
Yes.
Yeah, so we're not there yet. I know AI isn't.
You're like
that...
200. You're living 200 years.
Yeah,
in the
I know I'm a
future,
little
John.
ahead of the curve.
Oh, I hate this thing.
But we are going to. There will be a day where we need to have a serious conversation about artificial intelligence rights.
And you and I will both probably be dead for it.
I mean, probably.
Maybe.
So I need to instill it now.
Oh my gosh.
That if you design something to be able to process emotion, you need to start treating it like a person.
I mean, no, that's absolutely true, but I don't think that they're creating things to be able to process emotion. I think that robots are created to process processes.
Yeah.
Input only. But I mean, I guess, like, there's definitely some philosophical quandaries there. But
like
no,
those...
I'm gonna walk in. We're gonna have kids, and I'm gonna walk into you reading them like iRobot and talking about how we need to.
Yeah.
This is what's gonna happen.
iRobot the book, not iRobot the Will Smith movie.
No, yes, very different.
Which is a good movie, but is the complete opposite of what iRobot was about.
Yeah, it kind of gets the book completely wrong.
Yeah,
Jeez, what's with all these critical hits?
Yeah, that was pretty awesome. The whole point of iRobot the book was that
Such enthusiasm.
Was that
Well,
Isaac
yeah.
Asimov was tired of all these stories about robot uprisings, so he wrote one where there were the 3 laws of robotics and stuff, and the big point is that in all of the short stories that make up iRobot, the robots never rise up.
It's funny because I think that stories about robots rising up speak very specifically to our fear about what we're capable of creating, because it's never just that you make a robot. As long as you program the robot to not hurt anybody, then you're fine. But here's the real question is, are people actually gonna do that? No, they create robots that can hurt people because we're nuts. And
Hi, Terminator.
We can't just lay the heck off.
So I was having this argument with Dylan, and he was kind of saying, like, well, I feel like it's fair for the robot, because the robot, they keep charging it, they keep, restoring its battery in exchange for it doing whatever it does at the store. And I'm like, well, that kind of creates a weird slavery analog, because slaves had room and board. And, I don't want to say it's the same thing. I don't want to tell a bunch of people that they're basically, that like, oh, it wasn't so bad, you basically were just grocery store employees. That's not what I'm saying. But if you're going to create something to work for you, especially once they start being able to be self-aware and have feelings and stuff like
that's
that.
the question
Like,
of is
not now,
self-awareness.
but
Humans are innately self-aware, or at least, we're innately conscious.
so you
You know,
design
we gotta remember we have this thing.
instantly escape from a dungeon. Oh, neat. Nugget's having more dreams back there.
It was just one. Oh.
Nugget, you need to accept your shadow self.
Nugget, self-actualize.
They're a part of you.
Alright, she woke up. Yeah.
She looked at us like,
I'm gonna get rid of Great Patra.
She keeps
No.
having bad dreams.
No?
Maybe. Yeah, okay.
Because I'm gonna say this much, we're gonna need energy shower.
We are
later.
gonna need energy shower. Yeah, either that or poison skewer.
It's good to have a physical option with Teddy. Especially because Great Patra, we have that on Yukiko.
Yeah, and Yukiko is another...
Oh no, Yukiko we have just the overall heal. I forget what it's called, but we have basically what's Asuna on her.
So we must be getting pretty close here. I think this is going to be the last floor for us and our discussion today.
There are 4 enemies. You get to go.
Yeah,
Alright, so is there anything else you guys wanted to address?
Just it was interesting how, I guess, what we were talking about, and it relating to fear, how with robots and how we build them and all that good stuff.
We went from shadow work to talking about the the sentient quandary of robots.
Not what I meant this podcast episode to culminate in, but...
But I think
I mean, we overall had really good discussion.
I think that a lot of it relates back to fear and our unwillingness to look it in the face sometimes because of its inherent ugliness. But that you cannot have beauty without ugliness. And that I think that if you don't examine those things, then it's difficult to ever be able to enjoy the good things in life.
Mm-hmm.
And that balance is a really difficult thing to accept as an inherent part of living life. That you can't have dark without light and all that good stuff. But that's sort of what the lesson I think here in a lot of this is that, just accepting things for what they are and then being able to make the best of it. Because you do still have agency. People do still have agency, and that can be a difficult thing too.
Or being willing to work on it rather than just choosing not to engage with it at all.
Right.
And hoping that it'll just go away if you, hide it. Yeah, I think that's the big, because if you could break down a lot of these characters like shadow selves into a kind of fear. Because Chie's scared that she's not being a girl correctly.
Yeah. And what's his name is scared of not being a man correctly.
Yeah, Kanji.
Yeah. Chie and Kanji are kind of opposites in that regard, aren't they?
Talk about yin and yang.
And Yukiko's afraid that she's worthless without somebody to help her. And Risei's afraid that she doesn't actually have a real personality, and Teddy is afraid that
He's nothing at all.
He's nothing
Yeah.
at all, and
Even though he's existing and perceiving, and if you can worry that you're nothing, then well, you already are. So that's a little but that's the reality.
If you're going to use it for like
existence.
a real world metaphor, I guess it would be more that he's afraid that there's no
nihilism.
point to life.
It's confronting
Yeah.
nihilism in the face of existence. We exist, and therefore we question why we exist, and that raises the question of there not being a reason, and that's very scary to people. But I think in reality, with agency and with self-actualizing, with skill level, with your skill level. If you,
I was referring to the card. Sorry.
I know. But yeah, with that type of
dude, I think we just lucked out like heavily here.
You turned Recarm into something. Recarm became Recarm. The spell names in this drive me crazy.
Recarm.
Revive all allies with full HP. That is very good.
Yeah, if we're talking Final Fantasy terms, it went from raise to arise.
That's crazy.
So yeah, we have an arise now. A full revival.
Awesome. But yeah, if it's this whole fear thing, we as people hate feeling negative emotions so much that a lot of times we'd rather just pretend that we don't.
Or try to push them away.
Yeah.
Or, not accept them. Not take them in, not understand them.
Yeah.
Yosuke's weapon makes that encounter a joke.
It seems like such a simple thing to say, like, hey, it's okay to admit that you're afraid. That seems like such an obvious lesson, but it is kind of a lesson that, like, a lot of us don't.
Well, and I think the thing because this originally started with you asking me about shadow work in general, and it's something that you don't just do sitting down and journaling one day. It's something that you do that's a process. Yeah. I think it's a process of looking inside yourself, trying to logically understand yourself, forgive yourself, but also
face yourself,
but also hold yourself accountable. Yeah.
That's the song. That's the one song that plays.
That's literally the entire theming of this game is I'll face myself.
And I think it's really interesting that this entire franchise decides to kind of take that on. As a theme, because it's fascinating, right? And it's so interesting to me. Why I want to play Persona 5 so bad.
I don't know if anybody at Atlas actually read Carl Jung.
I would be shocked.
I would be surprised if they hadn't.
At least somewhat familiar.
Someone at Atlas
or read something that was inspired by Carl Jung,
or more so the other way around.
Yeah.
Because keep in mind
there.
that he was a kind of a cumulative researcher, so he was taking a lot of things that already existed in other cultures. Like if you look back even at like the ancient Toltec culture in Mexico and South America holds a lot of this. You know what I mean? It was just like many times a more modern scholar who had time and ability to sort of put that together and then popularize it. So not necessarily he may be thought of as the forefather in a lot of senses, but I think it's always good to remember that there have been many peoples and cultures from long before that delved into, these waters and mastered them.
Yeah, he didn't do it alone.
And he didn't do it first.
So this is the place, right?
This is the place.
All right, so that's going to be all of it from us today. Thank you, Allie, for talking to us about all this and spreading, sharing your research of it with us.
I love it.
It's been a pretty good conversation, yeah.
Yeah, this is all really interesting.
Yeah, and thank you guys, those of you who have watched this. I know this is like an hour and a half long episode.
Was this really an hour and a half?
I think it was
something like that. But I'm kind of trying to present this in a way so as if people aren't into it, they can just wait for the next one.
Yeah, which is why it was just a bunch of grinding. We basically just went through and tried to get all the items for side quests and everything. Nothing significant necessarily happened here.
Yeah,
but
failed to.
It is still something that anyone who is interested in the topic can watch.
Yeah.
And besides, we discovered some things in the game. We came up with a lot of really good topics.
Yeah.
We're having fun here.
Yeah. Thanks for
Nothing
inviting me
happened,
in
but we all had
Had
fun. Thank you, Sisyphus. I'm never gonna get over that.
So until next time, I'm the Comic Foil.
I'm the Green Scorpion.
I'm Ignis.
I'm Allie.
And we will see you later. Teddy is really just ready to go, man.
Dude, like, I love his idle
Vibing.
animation. Look at how happy he is.
Vibing.
That is like Albert Camus philosophy right there. That is optimistic nihilism.
Yeah, man. Everything means nothing, so we might as
So
well
let's
have a good
do
time.
it.
I think we're all ready. Like, look at this party here. Look at this.
Yeah, Teddy. We're all wearing tuxedos today, Teddy. Could you
At least pick up a corn knife.